gotta have like I think what I'm gonna do.
Dirty dick radar?
Well, no, you have to have a dick car wash in the hallway. Like you have to be like, if you want to come into the bedroom, you have to go through. It's like a drive-through car wash.
You have to take a shower.
You have to. Yeah, there's gonna be those spinny things. They're gonna do that on your dick, and then there's gonna be soap, rainbow soap, and then there's gonna be a big dryer at the end.
No, bitch, I want a whole full blood panel, STI, STD panel, HIV, everything.
I'm gonna give you a fleshlight filled with Dawn soap, and that's how we're gonna handle this bitch. Like you're gonna.
I want to see the bubbles coming out, or you're not doing it.
There's no suds. There's no puss. Sorry.
Hey girl, you trying to hit this?
Oh, you know exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that like TikTok that was a movie trailer, and it was a guy who was super rich. He put his wife on like a ledge and he made her stay on the ledge, and she was his trophy.
Yes.
And she started off by bringing him like he brought her super expensive gifts like jewelry, all of this stuff, flowers every day. And then he stopped bringing her flowers and left her up on the ledge, like moved his office out of there, and she was just in a beautiful prison for a crazy man. And I'm terrified of that happening to me.
Do you think I'm going to put you on a ledge?
Man?
Not you.
I'm going to be like, get up there and perform for me, Emily.
What would I do?
That's
I would just tell dick jokes
for a movie.
It is a weird. I saw it on TikTok. Yeah, it was like when do you ever watch those movies on TikTok? You're scrolling and it'll be like, the girl found a boy and they got lost in the woods. She chased the boy, but then there was a man, and it's a weird voice.
Yeah, and it's always like a voiceover effect.
I get so addicted to them though. I'll actually watch them.
I'll watch through all of the parts they have on their TikTok. I'll go back and find like part 15 and just start from the beginning.
It's such a rabbit hole with
it. Is.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of rabbit holes, we're about to enter one. On this new episode of Two Girls, One Blunt, I'm your co-host, Jamie Lee.
And I'm Emily. Today we have on the hilarious Morgan Gallo. She's a stand-up comedian. She does OnlyFans. She has great tits. I'm sorry. I'm used to the guests objectifying us. I'm like, look at those titties.
I know. I'm sorry I don't have them out for you today. I did think about that.
This is the Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
PSP for life. I was like genuinely thinking about it. I was like, wait, I'm going to be on Two Girls, One Blunt. Like I have to show some tits. But I didn't have a shirt that was like low cut in my suitcase. So I was like, oh, damn.
We've had other people, I think it was like Alexis Morgan. And she was like, I was afraid to show up. Like I thought I was going to have to like dress up, or she was like, I forget what she said.
She thought she was going to be like judged by us for not being like super hot. And we were like, dude, half of the time wearing like pussy, like literal cat t-shirts.
Yeah.
We're like, it's fine. No one's judging. Sometimes we dress up though. We're like, okay, they might have a big OnlyFans audience.
Yeah. So if like, you have someone on here who's like killing it, you got to be like, hey, I'm also here.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah. And then there's like, we've had other comedians on where they're bigger or whatever, and I'll wear a t-shirt just so that I just feel like people would assume shit anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I never want
take me seriously.
I want it to be like, this is comedy. Do you know what I mean?
So funny, yeah.
But then there's some guys where
to
I'm
be
like,
a woman is to perform. I love it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, wait. So not only are you a comedian, you also like co-own a studio out in Denver, Colorado.
I do. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My boyfriend and I have a studio. It's called Dude IDK Studios, and it started off because he started his company a few years ago. He was doing photography and videography and doing a lot of like social media graphics, producing all this stuff. And then once we started dating, we realized we had like very similar goals in terms of like building something that wasn't just a comedy career. So we opened the studio under the name of his company. And now we have like a full roster of podcasts that record with us every week.
Hell yeah.
There's like a subscription program where, you know, you pay monthly to have studio space. We have Don't Tell Comedy, we have Dude IDK Comedy, we have the Gateway Show, and then we have like a closed mic that a few local comics do where they book like working comedians to do like an open mic. So, and we get a crowd in there, so it's like a real show, but you're doing new material.
Oh, that's so cool.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's definitely been like a journey. It's been stressful, it's been crazy, but we started June 1st, and it's just been like a really fun time.
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I
it's
love
nice
that.
to have something that's like not stand-up comedy, but that's like related.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To work on.
Absolutely.
So,
We thought we were
yeah.
going to do something like that here because we have this studio. So we've always had conversations of being like, well, we could just rent this space out and that would pay for our
totally
editor.
Could.
Because all they need to do is change, like you just need to, if they have a 2-person
Right,
podcast,
yeah.
that's the background.
The only thing is our lease we would be in violation of our lease if we did that.
Oh, if you're gaining money to allow people into your unit, yeah, I can see how that would.
I feel like we have so many people in our unit, they wouldn't even know. They probably assume like we're hookers or something.
I think
we have so many guys come in and out that I think they think we're doing like porn or something in here, but we're just one of the fellas.
It's kind of like crazy because when I like pulled up in the Uber, I was like, is this a hotel? Because there was like a guy that literally caught me out of the Uber, put an umbrella over me, then walked me to the door.
They've never done that for me.
Oh, well, wait. Sorry.
What kind?
Morgan Gallo's in town.
Oh, shit.
And so then he brought me in, and then I was kind of like, do I just go to the elevator? Like, do I have to tell this guy what unit I'm like going to go see? And he was like, what unit are you here for? And I gave him the number, and then he like said the name, and I was like, oh, yeah. Like, I was like, am I not supposed to be here? Like, I felt, and everything is pristine fucking white.
It's so white.
Very
so I'm
clean.
walking in with my dirty Converse. I'm like, oh shit, I don't belong here.
No, the amount of times these white walls have seen me stumble in at 4 a.m. like with one shoe missing,
this
half
is
an eyelash.
wild.
We threw a party here. It was crazy. This place is a shit show. It's not as like, it looks really nice, but it's not like, everyone's normal. There's young people in here. It's Miami. Everyone's
for someone
trash.
who is like, I live in Denver. I live near a lake. I'm very like, ooh, I'm going to go get my afternoon kombucha. Like, I walk up to this building and I see this apartment and I'm like, fucking wow, dude. The other half lives nicely. Like, this is insane to me. Like, my apartment, I have like a 4x4 balcony that looks out onto like a pool with a bunch of like weird family, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you also get like to go by fires with your friends.
That sounds
you know
so
what I'm saying? Like, you
nice.
get to go hang out by a lake. Like,
yeah,
you have the
that's
outdoors.
true. I do have mountains.
We're missing that a little bit of the outdoors.
See,
Yeah.
the grass is always greener.
Yeah.
The grass is always...
Yeah, because you guys are more like water, beach, sun, but mine's more like snow, hiking. beer.
Yeah. And
It's
here,
weird.
the people, like, everyone's a hustler. Everyone's an entrepreneur, is doing something,
That
you
is
know?
true, huh?
So there's community in the sense that people are really supportive with like what you're doing and your goals because everyone
Yeah.
else is trying to do shit. So everyone's just supporting each other. Whether it's like content parties, like we meet up with Tonio Skits and a bunch of big creators here to do like a content day. And it'll be like, all right, here's our idea with the video. We need 15 people.
Yeah.
Whatever. That video finishes, somebody else uses everyone in the room to do that. There's a lot of that
That's cool.
stuff here, but there's not a lot of like, hey guys, do you want to go hang out and do like a group friend thing? Because there's always an opportunity for someone to do something
so funny.
else.
Yeah, because I can see that. I feel like it's very similar in LA where it's like, hey, we have shit we got to do. Like if we're hanging out, let's make content out of it. And it's like, no,
I don't want to have
that's
to do it all the
fun.
time.
That gets like you get burnt out from that. It's exhausting to always be on with your friends. Like we had a friend who would come over and she'd be like, well, I have to film this. I have to film this. And we're like, can we just breathe?
Yeah, you're
Like,
like, I don't
talk
have
shit.
makeup on. Like I'm not like I can't do this right now.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
I will say like I love Denver comedy because I've been there for I guess 7 months now, but I grew up there. I just didn't start comedy there. So I'm kind of like new as a new comic, but I'm not new to the city or the state.
Okay.
So it's cool that like I know people and like a lot of the comics there are really good friends. It is a really big community. It doesn't feel as like competitive as some other scenes. So it's
You
cool.
mentioned that too, and a lot of opportunities for women.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. There's so many more. And I'm only comparing this to my experience in Florida. So it's like I went from the Jacksonville / Orlando scene and just being on the road in Florida to now being in a scene that's like heavy with female comics, heavy with queer comics, a lot more like younger crowds, a lot more crowds that are like a little more accepting of people, which is cool, you know?
Okay.
Obviously, it's a double-edged sword because, like, in Denver, it can also be a little too liberal sometimes or a little too sensitive. So you have to, like, play your cards right. But
Yeah.
It's kind of like Boston or like Portland, Maine or Seattle in that regard. I feel like I do well in like a good mid ground. Yeah, a good mix of liberal and Republican.
yeah, I feel like that's, like, the average like answer anyway. It's like it's like fun to do the road because you're doing all these clubs where you're like, well, we're in Minneapolis, you know, I guess we'll see what happens here. And next time I'm in Tulsa. Okay. Like you kind of just have to like go with the energy of the room. But anyway.
What's been your favorite city to do comedy in so far?
it's weird because there are a lot of cities that I've been to, but I've only done one show there. And it was like maybe a sold out crowd that came to see Morgan J, who I opened for. So it's like, I don't know if that whole city would be that fun or if it's just because Morgan has a good following there. But
That's
like
true.
San Francisco was fucking killer. Like one of the best shows.
I've heard really good things about San Francisco.
Yeah.
For comedy. Joey Avery used to, I think he started there.
Okay.
So
Which
he was
is weird because you will also hear from people that San Francisco sucks because it's super liberal, it's super sensitive, and the comics that live there are also very sensitive. So it's kind of like, I've heard both sides, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do genuinely love doing comedy in Denver. I think Denver, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, that kind of like tri-city area is like very, very fun.
I would come out there in the summer.
I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
the
the
winter.
summer's beautiful.
We did Aspen in the winter. I had no winter boots, no winter jacket.
No. Why?
Well, we were at a content house there.
So I was like, I'm just going to stay inside
You're
and
like
go to
a
the hot
homeless
We
tub.
dude.
stayed
It's
inside
cold.
while everyone else went snowboarding.
Ah, damn. A content house.
It was a lot of fun.
They had the house for like 2 months, so they were just influencers were in and out. So we obviously were like, we're gonna go.
That is like such a wild life to live.
Oh, it is.
yeah,
Like that
It
is so,
is.
like, were you guys like,
we're in like a lot of different industries.
Yeah.
It's like a mix of the influencer industry, and then you have like Instagram baddie porn side,
Yeah.
and OnlyFans, and then you have comedy. And
Okay.
and sometimes like those don't mix, or just
yeah,
very
I
like
can
we'd be
definitely
traveling.
see the comedy one not being a part of that.
Yeah. Well, so a lot of those influencer things too, they're like you meet people and it's really good networking with people in other industries. So now we have people who throw events and they need comedy hosts for big events.
yeah.
So because we've met them and hung out with them, now we're able to get different opportunities opposed to if we were just sticking with comedians and the comedy scene.
Yeah.
It would take a little bit longer. Does that make sense?
For sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's wild how like comedy can spread across different industries when you're good at it.
Oh, yeah. Because everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone
Even though
knows
the
everyone.
industries are different, everybody knows everybody.
Right. And there's no shortage of like random corporate events that are like, hey, we need an MC for our like property management firm. Can you come do 20 minutes to announce the cash prize at the end?
And
you're
those
like,
pay so well.
Yeah, they're like, you want $5,000? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We just like a random influencer like networking event we went to here. I met a guy. He found out we were doing the live podcast. He's like, I own a liquor company, or like I'm on a board for a liquor
Oh,
company.
hell
They ended up
yes.
being our sponsor.
Hell yeah.
So there's always like these little
Yeah, dude, that's
ways that they can
wild.
call
That
it
cat
cross
is in
marketing.
heaven
She's
right
so
now.
happy right now.
Oh, what a cutie.
She loves love. This is Lola.
Oh, Lola.
She looks like a Muppet with her haircut.
I know I have to get her shaved because she's usually very long hair and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
hard to breathe. And most of our guests are allergic to cats.
Oof, yeah.
We kind of forget to tell them. And
Yeah. Oh, she's so cute.
Oh.
she's being very needy right now. Hi,
But that's why
Mama.
it's nice to be not just in comedy. Like you're saying
Yeah.
with your studio, like diversifying. That's the best way to make it so you're not screwed in any
Yeah.
sense. Just have a fallback.
Yeah. But it also
Yeah.
sucks because it does spread us thin.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, it's a very unique balance of like, how do I make sure that I'm focusing on comedy and getting better at it while also like pursuing this side thing that like helps my career but is also secretly a fallback.
well, it's like, it's not even either a fallback because with comedy, like the route that a lot of people go is obviously touring, but then acting and
Yeah.
like sitcoms and commercials and things like that. And so I feel like we're just building all of the avenues that we want at the same time instead of like some people just focus on comedy, get really good at comedy, and then they're like, okay, now let me do social media. Now let
Yeah.
me start going on like podcasts or having my own podcast.
Yeah.
Where like let's do it all at once and build that foundation so that when we do pop off in one of those, the other ones will follow.
Yep.
And we
Yep.
already have experience doing it.
Yep.
It's been a fun crash course.
It's been a fun roller coaster.
Yeah, but
For
that's
sure.
great. I mean, you guys are killing it from my point of view. So
Thank you.
That's very sweet. Inside, we come home and cry.
I'm crying right now.
Oh,
Internally.
God.
Same.
Yeah, I wanted to chat with you about, because I remember briefly us talking about being bisexual.
Yeah.
When did we have that conversation? Maybe it was like just in passing.
I guess I only like met you guys that one time, right?
Maybe it's because you were talking about the gay community in Denver.
Oh.
And how accepting it was.
Yeah,
and
probably.
You also give me gay vibes.
Yeah, I give everyone
Not in a bad
gay
way.
vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's like I'm in this really weird in between where I would consider myself like 50% femme, but also 50% like not butch, but like
mask.
tomboy. Yeah, I guess mask is But I am attracted to very femme girls.
Okay.
And I don't get hit on by very femme girls. I get hit on by creepy men and extremely butch lesbians, which is fine. Like, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's hard because I'm like, no, I want to be the butch. Like, I want to, you know what I mean?
Wait, you'd be the masculine in the role?
I think so. I don't know. Like, but I would imagine myself like probably being that person. But I also like have never really fully experienced that because I still like to once in a while like be very feminine, and I feel like my personality is just dominant, so that's what would make me the mask. Does that make sense?
I feel like top or bottom. Is that what you're saying? Or more so like
opening
No,
the doors
just-
and paying for the meals and the dates.
okay.
And
like if this is so stupid. This is how I like measure my bisexuality in my head. So like when I think of men, I want to be like, my boyfriend is taller than me. You know what I mean? Like I want a guy that's like a little bit more muscular, a little bit like bigger than me. Cause I'm a curvy girl, right? Like I need like a dude.
yeah.
But if I'm
feel
with
you.
a girl, I want them to be like smaller than me.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
You're like, you're
Or I
dating, do you
want
stay
them.
there?
Yeah, like is that like it's like weird that I see that. Like cuz with men, I want to be the like fragile feminine one.
Me too.
But with girls, I'm like, hey yo, baby girl.
Daddy's home.
You're like, daddy's home.
does
You're
that
like,
make
I got
sense?
you.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well,
but-
so if
No,
you're
it
gonna
does
do
make
that,
sense.
that means you have to be the pursuer. So when you say
Right.
femme girls don't hit on me, you need to be hitting on these femme
Exactly,
girls. We need to see your gay riz.
I don't have any. That's the problem.
What's your riz with men?
Oh, just being
Existing?
an asshole, just negging them. It's
Oh
so
my
easy.
God.
Men are so easy to flirt with because
They're
you
so
can,
easy.
You can just give them one tiny little like backhanded compliment and they're like, ooh, she's sassy. I like this. You know what I mean?
Men love bitches. I don't know
They
what it
love
is.
it. And it's not even like truly negging them. It's just being like attractive while being sassy or like do you know what I
giving
mean?
shit.
Yeah.
So we're from the Northeast, and the culture
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
you guys know what I'm
Northeast is
talking
just
about.
constant giving shit.
Yeah.
We're watching Miss Maisel right now, and it's like all the,
Oh,
it's like a
perfect.
Jewish family, and they're all every
Yep,
answer
yep.
they have is a comeback. Like they never answer anything like happy. It's always a comeback, but they all love each other.
You know who I think of when I think of that kind of flirting is fucking Alan. Shout out Alan.
Oh, Alan
Oh,
Fitzgerald.
for sure.
Wait, no, what's his last name?
What's his last
Morrow.
name? Monroe.
Monroe?
Morrow.
Morrow.
Yeah, so I met him in Rhode Island a few months ago. I
And
like
he
barely know
sassed you
this guy.
immediately.
Yeah, we're fucking like he.
Oh, he's sharp with it.
Yeah, and I was like looking at him because we were talking after a show, and he was at the festival I was doing, and we were like talking, and I'm like, is this fucker flirting with me right now? Like, what is going on? And I
Was he?
called him
Probably.
out, but he was doing it with everyone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, look at this fucking flirty motherfucker going around like
Casanova.
you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I think of when I think of like hitting on a guy or having a guy hit on you. Like you're doing this weird back and forth where you're like being very playful and teasing.
Yes, I love that.
Whereas
my
I feel like
favorite.
with girls, you have to be way more just like, you're so beautiful. Like, I'd love to take you out for you know, it's
No,
like
no.
weird.
Okay, the only girl I've dated who I actually haven't been able to stop thinking about
Oh,
for like
gay
5
manic is
years.
hitting.
Yeah, no, because she treated me so well, but we had that banter back and forth that was
Oh,
so
okay.
hot, and then she
Yeah.
asked me out. It just ended up happening, and I was like,
Yeah.
I love you.
oh my God.
You'd be a U-hauler.
I would be
Emily
a
would get in a
U-hauler.
lesbian relationship or a gay
Be like,
relationship.
let's move in and get a cat together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We moved in together. We have 4 cats now. We don't
my
even
God.
touch. So
That's cute.
It's a sexless
You
lesbian
guys are like
relationship.
BFFs though. It's like, I love that.
I was listening
Yeah.
to some comedian like tell marriage jokes, and I was like, wait, we're married.
yeah, she did say that. She was like, this is referring to Jamie.
I was literally sitting next to a guy that I was like flirting with, and I look at Jamie, I go, this is about us. He doesn't even know it.
Every relationship is like a marriage.
Oof,
you know?
that's so sad. That's so sad to think about. Every relationship, I fucking hope not.
You know what I mean? Like, you have the honeymoon stages of friendship where you're like, this is so great. We're
Yeah, I see what you're
friends.
saying then. Yeah, it is like, at first it's so exciting. You're like, new person, new vibe, new energy. And then after 6 months, you're like, you're fucking weird.
Yeah, there's always that like mask falling off, or like if no one's on their best behavior all the time. You get to see people in shit like when they're not doing well. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a different person because you haven't come across those challenges yet.
Yeah.
In communication or whatever.
Dude.
And then like the real true test of it is, are you going to make it through that period? And a lot of friends split up because they can't communicate.
Yeah. And
But we were able to communicate, and here we are.
Here we
married
are.
with 4 children.
Love it. Love
And
it.
no sex.
A 5th on the way.
Dang, I've only seen 3 cats walking around. You know, there were
The other
4.
one's like probably hiding.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like a little black one.
My
Oh,
cat's a
okay,
pussy.
okay.
No, she's not. She just likes to be left alone.
Okay.
Don't we
Just like
all?
her mama.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
So you've never hooked up with a girl yet?
So I have, and this is a very weird story because it's like not very satisfying, but like I did a show in Cocoa Beach, Florida at a marina because clearly my career is on fire. And I did this show and I was featuring for a guy that was like kind of my comedy mentor, and he took me on the road a lot. Did really well, great show. There was a very cute bartender, long blonde hair, huge tits, like thought I was
Nice.
very funny. And she sent me a drink, and I don't drink, so I think I
Ooh.
sent it back, or like there was some kind of thing of like, oh, you didn't accept my drink, and I was like, oh no, it's not because I was like, I just
Flirty
don't drink.
banter.
Yeah, it was like, and then the show passed, and I ended up like talking to her, and her friend was there, and they were like, do you want to go smoke a joint out in the boatyard?
That's how you get me. That's how you get me.
Yeah, honestly, and she was like so hot. So I was like, oh my God, like this really pretty girl's asking me to smoke a joint. Like I cannot explain to you how nervous I was because I could tell that she was like, I was sensing there was like bi energy.
Oh.
It wasn't just like she was being a friend.
Yeah.
And so we go out and we smoke this joint, and I'm like talking to her, and I feel bad because her friend is also like talking to me, but her friend is like married and like just there to do comedy, but like she's like flirting with me, and it was just like, you know,
You're
there's, like, a
focused on
third
your girl.
wheel. Yeah, and so she ended up the girl that we'll just call her Claire, and that's not her name. So she like walked me to my car, and she like put her hand on my back and she walked me to my car.
Oh.
And I was like, I felt really, I just felt so stupid because I was like, oh my God, like this is like, how do I deal with this? I was so nervous. And then she gave me her number. She's like, I'd love to hang out. Like, and we're both high, so we're both just kind of like,
that's
babbling.
even worse because now you're in your head. The thoughts are going in, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so this is a gay moment, but like, am I ready for this? I don't even know what to do. Like,
Oh, yeah,
what if,
dude.
like you're stuttering. You're like, shit.
Yeah, and I had
no.
only come out like maybe a few months before that. Like I knew I was bisexual, but I had only really like started talking about it to other people a few months before. So then
okay.
I had this long drive home. Eventually I end up texting her, and she comes up to St. Augustine where I was living at the time, like a few days later. We have like a proper date. We like kind of go bar hopping. It was on a Sunday night, so it was very casual. And she like, there was like a moment where I was like, I'm fucking doing it. And I like put my hand on her thigh while we were sitting at a bar.
Oh.
And I was like, I am so gay right now. Like I was like, yes. Like I was like, winning. And it was just so awkward because I'm like, I feel like I'm being awkward, but I'm genuinely trying to like I felt like an 8th grade boy at a dance.
Yes. Were you
know what I
open with
mean?
her about the fact that you had never like been with a woman before?
I told her. Yeah, I was like, I'm like nervous. Like I don't know what to do. Like I just want you to know because I don't want you to think I'm being like weird. Like I don't want you to think I'm being.
Please don't think I'm weird. Don't perceive me right now. I'm really into
Meanwhile,
this.
I'm like, my panties are a puddle right now. Like I feel so like, what the fuck? And so then we go to this like bar, and she said something about get dancing because there's a dance floor, and she was like, I'll dance with you if you kiss me.
Oh wow.
Oh my God. So I like leaned in and kissed her. It was a very like redneck, like old Florida, just white people bar. So I was like, I don't think that they're going to love what's happening here. But I kiss her, and then we start dancing, and then we go home. We go back to my place. We're like pretty drunk at this point, and like we're like kissing, and I'm like, I'm like nervous of what to do because I didn't feel comfortable like doing anything to her quite yet. Cause I was like, what if I'm not good at it? What if like I'm drunk right now? And like, you know what I mean?
Eating pussy's terrifying.
Yeah, it is like really terrifying.
You haven't done it yet?
No. Even though I feel like I know what to do, I guess.
That's what I thought too. And then I went down there and my friend was like, yeah, I'm not going to come. So let me just take care of you. And I was like,
oh,
I'm glad I did it with a friend and not some
friend?
rando.
Oh my God. That's wild.
I'm more scared to finger a woman than I am to eat her out.
Oh yeah. Cause it is kind of like,
Same.
yeah, I know my nails are too
I'm
long
good.
right now.
No, I'm not. I'd
have to get the lesbian nails.
Or you would just have to be careful about not like going in all the way so you hit the surface. Like you could like go in
you
there.
can still finger somebody
you can
with
still,
nails.
like do a little of this action, but you have to be careful like you're. But yeah, she went down on me, and the worst part of the thing is like I was drunk, so and I don't know why when I drink I can't like come.
You got
at
whiskey
all.
dick?
Whiskey clit?
Yeah, so she was like going down on me, and I had to like fake an orgasm so that because I didn't want, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be like, hey, sorry, I can't come. I should have just said that.
Do you think that she knows you faked an orgasm because she's a woman?
I don't know. I'm a pretty good actress.
Well, it's not about
I'm pretty
acting
good at
too.
shaking. I know I can make. You know what I mean? Like I can.
I have to squeeze my pussy
I do
when
that too.
When I'm coming, I'll like start doing it. I'll be like, oh no, Alex, do it slower, and I'm like, it's happening, and then I make it go bum bum.
Yeah,
bum,
we
bum.
all have a routine.
We do.
We're like, all right, getting ready for the dismount. Here we go. You like start stretching. You're like, oh my god, yeah. Like you know what you need to do.
I just came.
Yeah.
That was so good.
But yeah, it was so. I felt so awkward because like. I genuinely enjoyed it. She was a nice girl. She definitely wanted more of a relationship out of it. So it was kind of tough for me to be like, I want to hook up with you. But like, she also had 3 kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, she has a baby daddy. She has a whole life. Like, she's looking for someone to, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I can't be that person. Like,
You're like, I'm a traveling comedian.
Holy shit.
I was like, I'm in my fuckboy era.
You had to be a man in that moment.
Yeah, I truly had to muster up all my white dude confidence and be like, sorry, I'm not looking for anything serious.
Is that what you said to her?
Pretty much, yeah. I just texted her and I was like, hey, like I had so much fun. Like you're so like wonderful. Like you're a very nice person. I'd love to hang out if I'm ever in Cocoa Beach again. But like, I just want you to know I'm not looking for anything serious. And she was really nice about it.
Okay.
Yeah, she was really cool. I ended up like
Do we hear this rain?
Yeah, I know. The rain is
Yeah,
really,
lots
I kind
going
of like
on.
it though. It's very like soothing.
I feel like it might be picking up in the.
Oof.
I don't know if you guys can hear the storm that's happening in the background.
It's kind of I'm actually happy that it's raining when I came down here instead of it being like super hot.
Really?
I would have, yeah, because I'm coming from Denver and Cleveland where it's like cold, and I'm
So
like,
you're not used to the weather anymore.
no, not at all. Like in Denver, it's like been snowing for a minute. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I forgot about snow.
yeah,
Nope.
So all my suitcases, like I don't have any shorts or any like, you know, like.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
That's like the opposite of us because we'll go to places where it's cold and I'm like, oh, I forgot to own a sweater. Like I don't even own a sweater.
Yep.
I need gloves in anything below 80 degrees.
What?
Oh my God.
I get really cold.
Well, because when you live down here, your blood thins.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I grew up in the high altitude in Colorado. Like I was used to the cold. I was used to the altitude. Like there's less oxygen, you know, like your lungs are different.
Does your blood thicken?
Kind of, yeah. And then when you go somewhere for like I was in Florida for 4.5 years. So my body kind of changed. So now when I'm in Denver, I actually get colder, like even when it's not that cold outside, because I was used to the Florida weather.
Yeah, that's happening to us. Like anything, we turn it up to 80 in here because we're freezing.
Well, how long have you been away from Boston?
Like we're going on year 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So your body's like acclimated.
Yeah.
Oh, for
And I'm
sure.
like, damn, I'm a pussy now.
Yeah, we went back to Boston in October and I was freezing and it
yeah.
would have been nice like 2 years ago. I'd have been like, oh, this is perfect temperature for October. But I was so fucking cold.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? It's annoying.
Yeah. Bodies are fucking weird.
Weather is weird. Like it's weird that you can drive.
What a riveting podcast topic. Let's go in on this.
But you know what I'm saying? Like you can drive in like, I don't know, let's say a couple of hours and you can pass multiple different climates.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, how are we not at the same climate? Because it's really not that far. Like, how is it that different?
That's what I don't
Do you know what I'm saying?
understand about
Yeah.
plane travel. Like, how can I be there, but then I'm here the next day and the weather is totally different? Like that doesn't track for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. Those are our high thoughts.
No, these are my sober thoughts.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you like took a hit. Do you even get high off of a hit anymore though?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, but I
On
think
that
about
note.
this every time I'm on a plane. I'm like, how the fuck does that work? How am I here? But I was just there.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's weird because like doing this tour,
I'm good,
you
thank
get
you.
really disoriented. Like there are a lot of times where I'll wake up in a hotel room and I'll think I'm in another city, but I'm like, oh no, fuck, I just got to Miami. Like, I'm in
Yeah.
Miami right now. You know what I mean? Or
Welcome
like,
to
I'm not in Kansas
Miami.
City or whatever.
How much longer do you have on the tour?
Literally Miami and Tampa, and that is the last. Like Tampa is the last show that I'm doing with Morgan.
Okay.
And then I'll be there for like the weekend doing a bunch of shows, and then I don't think I'll see Morgan until like next March.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're gonna do Orlando.
Oh,
But that's
hell
like
yeah.
not part of this like across the galaxy tour. That's just more of like him doing more dates, I guess.
He's going everywhere.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah,
It's so cool to watch people like when you see them on social media like years ago, and then you like start to
Yeah,
see where they're
dude.
at now and
I know he's
everything.
been doing it for 16 years too.
Yeah, social media. It's crazy how social media can change people's lives. And you studied marketing before.
Yeah, ugh, yeah.
So have you found that super helpful? Because you have a good following and everything.
People ask me all that all the time. Like I got a degree in PR and then I went into doing social media because like at the time, like in 2017, that was like everyone was hiring for social media coordinators. Like any industry, any job, anywhere. So it was like I worked in hospitality doing social media. Then I worked for a private liberal arts college doing social media. And then I worked in the tech industry for like 8 months and did like community management for them. So I learned how to basically build a brand and manage its, I guess, online reputation, for lack of a better word. So yeah, when I started doing comedy, like I was very hesitant to like kind of almost like manage myself as a comedian online, because you know how when you start doing comedy, you're like not really a comedian yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, like I'm doing comedy.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to get to a place where I like categorized myself as a comedian on Instagram, or like called my handle Morgan Gallo Comedy. But after like a year and a half, I started like posting videos and like actually doing a lot of dates. So I was like, okay, I'm going to like,
How long have you been doing comedy now?
in July, I hit 3 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's been really fun. I mean, I love it.
What's your career process like when you go to writing and stuff? Are you kind
Oh,
of like
God, I wish I had a
random
good
thoughts
answer for that.
or?
No, I used to be the kind of person that I was like, I'm going to write every day. I'm going to do I used to do this thing called Word of the Day. And I was a part of an online writing group in the pandemic because it was the only way you could like
I
really,
love that, by
Yeah.
the
I
way.
like did like Zoom sessions with other comics. Like
That's so fun.
Yeah. Like I just made a lot of online friends and just started writing a bunch. And then I did like a Word of the Day thing where at 10 a.m. we all got on this like Facebook live stream on the Hot Breath podcast comedy writing room or whatever. And like there would be a random word generated and then you had 10 minutes to write a one-liner about that word. And then you put it all in the comments and then everyone voted and someone won joke of the day or whatever. So I used to like be really into that stuff
I love that.
to be able to like learn how to write comedy. And then now it's more like something really weird will happen and I'll write it down in my notes app and then I'll like go to my joke book later and I'll actually like write something out, or I'll have an idea that I'm like have been mulling over for a while and it won't like really come to fruition until maybe I say it on stage randomly or whatever, and then I'll like kind of write. So
Do you write on stage a lot and like tell your jokes as you're thinking of them?
She writes on stage. It's crazy.
yeah,
But that's a skill I'm trying to get better at.
I sometimes do that, but I don't like to, because when people are paying to see a show, I want them to know that they're gonna get good material.
Oh, yeah, this
I
is
try
only for
not
bar
to, like-
shows.
Yeah, exactly. Like I try to do some of that, but I also have a hard time like remembering all the time. So I have to like sometimes memorize like, okay, what's my setup? What's the idea of the punchline?
Do you
And then
black
I'll
out on
just-
stage like that, like your brain? And when I first started,
Sometimes.
I would have my set list and I'd have to memorize the set list and
Yeah.
then my jokes, and I couldn't break it. And if I missed one, then everything got fucked up. So when I
Yep.
got back into comedy, I've been doing this thing where I memorized all my jokes, and we were going up all the time, like for months. When I got back into it. And now I'm trying to be able to do my set and change my jokes like while I'm on stage based on how the crowd's reacting, and that takes like a different level of memorization.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to like learn that skill and get better at that, because that was tripping me up on stage more than like the joke writing.
For sure. I do a lot of like, I'll have an idea and I will write it down, and then I will kind of like play with it for a while, and then maybe in the middle of like a longer set, I'll just randomly say it and see if it's anything.
And see if it hits.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't, I'll just kind of like go back to the drawing board and maybe do it at like a smaller show, or like it's definitely changed over time. I'm definitely not someone that can just sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to write a new joke today.
No.
Like I just have a bunch of shit in my phone that I'm like, ooh, this is funny. You know what I mean?
There's something there.
Yeah, yeah. I usually do like when I'm in a group setting and I say something funny and people laugh, I'll try to like write down what I said or how I said it, or literally go into my voice notes and repeat what I said and exactly how I said it so I can remember the delivery.
Right. Yeah.
But then I have to go back and schedule time where I'm actually listening to all my voice notes and going through all the notes, and that's hard.
Right. Yeah, I know it's a.
So we're looking for an editor, guys.
Please help us out.
Do you have any like wild fan stories? Like, have you had any like obsessed fans?
I get a lot of weird DMs. I get a lot of weird like I'll read you one because I actually took a screenshot of it today. I got a DM on Instagram, or no.
Yes, let's read some DMs.
Actually, it was Facebook.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh,
For some
God.
reason, I have more followers on Facebook than literally any other platform.
That's for our podcast
Same.
too.
Okay, so I'll put this out there. You just mull it over. If you ever come to Boston and you know I'm around, ... I'd like to sniff your beehole in the morning before I go to work. Ball is definitely in your court on this one. Think about it. It would really help me out. Something tells me it's going to be nice for everyone involved. Anyway, take care.
Sniff your beehole.
And that was sent to me by some guy named Frankie.
Frankie.
I wish it was one of our friends.
I know,
that would have
like,
been
what's
hilarious.
the last name?
Yeah.
I might know that Frankie.
Yeah, dude. I get a lot of DMs like that. I did actually last week I headlined the Cleveland Comedy Festival, and the booker, who has known me for a few years, like he's kind of seen me, you know, get a little bit of a lift on social media. So he's been very aware of like the kind of comments I get, kind of the weird stuff that happens to me, just a lot of like men just being creepy in the comments. And so he was like, hey, before your show, like I don't want to like freak you out. I don't want this to like make you feel uncomfortable, but like, is there any chance that you might have some weird fans that are trying to come to this show? Have you seen anything? Have you heard anything? And at first I thought I was in trouble. I thought he was going to tell me like, hey, you can't say this on stage. I don't know why my brain automatically thought that, but I guess
Anxiety.
he like had
Thoughts of impending
an
doom.
interaction with a female comic recently where she headlined a show, and she also had a very big social media platform, and there was like a situation where a fan showed up and tried to act like something was like going on between them, and like tried to get into the show, and they kind of had to like, I guess, do something. So the only thing that's happened is I did a bar show a year ago. Randomly, I did a set, got off stage. This is like a very small, like random bar show. Like there's not a lot of people there. There's honestly more comics on the show than there are audience members.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah. So I get an airdrop request, and it's like a note from like the Notes app. And I just declined it because I'm like, oh, that must have been a mistake. And then I get a text message that's like this long scrolling text of like, hey, Morgan, I'm a fan of yours. I just saw your set here at Improper City Brewing. I want to take you out. I'm really shy, so I didn't want to approach you. I'm in the back of the room, blah, blah, blah. And like,
Oh, man.
I turn around, and I know it's this guy because he's standing alone. He's an older guy. He's like kind of not making eye contact with me. And in my mind, I'm like, how the fuck did he get my phone number?
That was my
Like,
first thought.
Yeah. And so I actually replied and I said, who is this and how did you get this phone number? And then he sent back a really nasty message being like, if you don't want your information out there, then you should get it taken down from all the websites. Like, you shouldn't be putting yourself out there. I'm just trying to be a nice guy. I just offered you to get a drink. Like, you don't act like I'm a creepy guy, whatever. And so
What
I ended up just
websites?
like, I don't know. I think if you...
Don't act like I'm a creepy guy. I'm angry in the first interaction.
Yeah.
I won't murder you.
Yeah, I think there are
swear.
websites where like that they'll like sell your data. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you Google Morgan Gallo comedian phone number, like I'm sure
shit.
there's something. You know what I mean? Like there, like
Are you searching for us?
Yep.
So he airdropped you something, then bought a service to get your phone number,
Yes.
texted you, and then got mad that you asked who he was.
yes, exactly. Love it. Love the audacity.
Women
of
in
white
STEM.
men. Women in STEM.
I love
so
it
I
here.
ended up just like asking the host of the show, who was a guy. I was like, hey, would you mind giving me a ride to my next thing? Because I was gonna have to Uber, so I was gonna have to wait there. And I was like, hey, can you just like take me out of this situation?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that's like happened that's creeped me out. But I've never, luckily, like knock on wood, like I've never had someone actually come to a show.
Thank God.
And be like, hey, can I get in the green room? Like, can I take you out? You know what I mean? Like, so,
I'll suck your dick right now.
oh God.
I don't
We
think I
talk
have
a lot
info out
about-
there, which is good.
That's good. Wait, check me. We talk a lot about like creepy male comedians, but I have
Yeah.
noticed like there are great male comedians who will, like the Booker in Cleveland, like look out for you, make sure you
Right.
have security.
Right.
I've had comedians message me and be like, if anyone's ever creeped you, literally come to me and I will not make a scene, but I will protect you and just stand
Yeah.
near you. So it's nice to
Yeah.
see that there are good people out there.
There are a lot of like people like that. I think as they go on in their career and they see it happening, which is really annoying. Like they almost have to witness it firsthand for them to be
To understand how serious it is.
yeah. But I will say there are a lot of like
Well, it's because if
comics
guys
out
were
there
getting
that-
stalked by girls, I feel like usually they're like, all right, I'll fuck her.
That's so true.
because,
You know what I mean?
So
yeah,
true.
Of course. I mean, and honestly, if a girl was throwing herself at me like that, I would be a little bit more inclined to be like, hell yeah, let's hang out, than a guy, which is obviously like,
Do you have mommy issues?
yeah. I have a lot of mommy
I was going to say,
issues.
because I would trust a guy more than I would trust a girl.
You did an almond
Oh.
mom joke, right?
Oh God, yeah. I
Okay,
do.
I remember like me saying Lizzo was an almond mom on Twitter, and you liked that. I think that was one of the jokes.
Yeah.
So now it's coming back to me. Your mom
Yeah,
was an
dude.
almond mom. For anyone
Yeah,
listening, can you describe what an almond mom is?
An almond mom, in my opinion, is a mom that is very controlling of the looks and the physical fitness and the overall like attractiveness of their daughter. Like they're very concerned about like what you're eating, how you're dressing, what you look like, how much makeup you wear, type of thing. Like I had a mom who was very concerned all the time about like what if my clothes were flattering. You know what I mean? Like,
Interesting.
because like to her, like this big T-shirt is not flattering.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go do a comedy show. I'm not here to flatter my body.
And I feel confident in this, and that's
Exactly.
way more flattering than anything else.
yeah. Or she was the kind of mom. Like I remember, do you guys have Red Robin here? like
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh.
just like a burger chain. It's just like it's like a restaurant. I don't know. And they give you fries at the table, and I always dipped them in ranch. And my mom would always be like, Morgan, you're just adding fat to that. Don't do that. And I'd be like, what?
That's kind of the point of fries.
My mom would be like, if you want to go out tonight, you have to do 100 sit-ups.
Really?
I was in gymnastics, so it became a game. But now looking back at it, I'm like, that's kind of fucked up.
Oh no, yeah.
It is.
Because she would be like, all right. And then she'd be like, Jamie's getting fit. And like, I was skinny and stuff back then, but it was very like,
And it's that weird kind of thing where you're like, you're almost chasing the validation of your mom all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you lose weight, you're like, Mom, I lost weight.
And she's
Yeah.
proud
But
of
if
you.
you gain weight, then you kind of like don't talk to your mom and you're like, oh, I don't want her to notice. You know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
going to skip Thanksgiving this year.
I
with
didn't.
the
I
fam.
had an almond mom who was also a ballet mom,
Oh,
so I feel like it was
just
just
so much worse.
extra on top, and
Yeah.
that was super fun. And then I always had boobs. Like I developed super early, and I remember my family like always making fun of me in my ballet leotards because I had tits and nobody else had tits, and I was like, why are you looking at my
And
tits?
that's so uncomfortable because then as a kid, you're taught that having boobs is like wrong or
Yeah.
that you're at fault if people look at them.
Or that
Yeah.
it's sexy to have them, and I'm like, I'm 9.
Yeah.
What's sexy about a
Do you have
9-year-old?
a joke
Nothing.
about that? I feel like you should.
I don't.
I have jokes about that. Don't step on my fucking material, Emily. No, I'm just
Listen, I have big boobs
You're like,
too,
quite
okay?
the joke, but not mine.
no, it is so like that's literally what I talk about is it's like it's so awkward being young and being developed because you're like I don't know if this is good or bad because it's like I'm getting this really weird attention from adults, but I'm also
From
getting
old men.
like kind of shitty attention from other kids who are making fun of me.
Like, is that why my gym teacher told me to do more jumping jacks so he could see my tits bounce? Like, what's going on?
Oh, I had so many teachers in middle school just be really weird when it came to dress code. And it always happened to the girls who were developed first.
Right.
So, like, I had C cups in 5th grade.
Same.
But I also had a bowl cut. So I had like a men's haircut with C cup titties. It just didn't make sense.
That's hot.
And I remember wearing like and I wasn't a sexual kid, obviously. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm wearing a tank top running around a gym thinking I'm fine. And I'm like getting sent out. But I remember me and this girl had the same tank top on. And she didn't have boobs. And he didn't send her
Damn.
to the
These fucking
office. I had to
mosquito-bite-ass
change because
bitch
I
just
was
ruin it
developed.
for everyone.
Okay, are tits sexual organs? I've had this argument. You have a podcast called Let's Fight About It.
Yeah.
I had an argument with my ex and I was like, tits are not sexual organs. They are not part of like our reproductive system. That's what's sexual.
Well,
Men
they
have
kind of-
sexualized
they only are in the
boobs.
way that like
Breastfeeding.
they provide milk to the baby, but that's
But is
like-
that about sex or is that just about
it's the product of sex, so I don't know. I think I'm a boob girl. Like for me, I like girls with big boobs. I do like butts, I guess, but like for me, I am like a boob. So I don't know. I think they're sexual in the way that it's like you're attracted to them, but they're not. Yeah, they're not a part of the process. Maybe I don't know.
well, only if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
You know what's so fucked up is you were like, I'm a boob girl, and instantly I had a vision in my head of a girl who has just the nicest titties I've ever seen. So I was like, Liz Lupu.
Oh, she has great tits.
She has phenomenal
great
tits.
boobs.
I'll show you
Yeah.
them. But yeah, you guys can see them on her OnlyFans. Shout out our friend Liz Lupu.
I love it. I love it.
But they're beautiful. I'm an ass person. I'm an all person. I just think women are beautiful,
I know it's like,
but they do make me so
frustrating.
scared.
I'm terrified of
Yeah,
women.
they're really scary.
It's like easier to handle men because like I know what to expect. It's like better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
yeah.
And
Oh,
it's like going
so
back to the
true.
basics. It's really going back to the basics.
Yeah,
of shit.
bisexuality is like when you are in a shitty job and you're going to another shitty job, you're like, should I leave this one or go to the scary new one?
You know what's funny is this is something that like speaking of writing is something I'm trying to figure out. So like to me, because I've only really been with that one girl and I wasn't even really like doing anything active. I was being a pillow princess. Like
We love that.
To me, being bisexual feels like I'm so kind of outside of the queer community because I haven't been with a girl that it's like there's the queer community to me is like these two girls playing double dutch and I'm on the outside and I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
you're just trying to get in?
Okay. And then you get in and then you're like
You're like, it's happening. It's happening.
You're like, I can't run this fast. Like you're like trying to double dutch and then it just like slaps you in the face. Like it's just
Oh.
that to
is-
me is how I feel about like I want to be in the queer community. I want to like be a part of it, but I'm like I don't know how to enter in. You know what I mean?
I was
Me
way
too.
more queer back when I was younger. Like involved in like the Tumblr side of like
Ooh,
queer,
yeah.
like the internet. And I was very open my whole life about being like pansexual. And
Yeah.
I knew all the acronyms. And now like I feel like I've done a slide backwards to more straightdom.
Yeah, or like
You
I
know?
became like more traditional as I'm getting older. I'm like I love women. I think I could date a woman. I just haven't met. It's hard to find the ones that I would want to
Oh, for
date.
sure.
And you have to really put yourself into those communities, otherwise you're not around it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I'm very specific. I'd want a mask girl. Like I want someone
Yeah.
I want to be taken care of.
Right,
So.
right.
That's even harder. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and you know what's weird is I don't know if you've experienced this, but I do know that there's like a lot of there is this like a weird section of like the lesbian community that like really doesn't like bisexual women.
Yes, there's
feel
so
like
much hate towards
Yeah,
it.
because they feel like you're not
gay enough for
Yeah,
them.
they're like you're gonna cheat on me with a guy or you're gonna I don't know. Like it's a very weird
They're like, oh, you have 100% of the options as opposed to just having 50% of the population. That's how my ex felt about me
feel like
being
less
bi.
committed.
He was like, oh, other girls can hit on you and get you too. It's not just men I have to be worried about. And I was like, you don't have to be worried about anyone. If I love you, I love you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's always a frustrating thing. I've done a lot of shows where like I have gotten kind of like hit on by women in the audience and they'll like leave their number to me after the show, which is like obviously, you know, exciting, but like I'm in a relationship. And so I'm like, all right, like I'm not going to pursue this. I respect my boyfriend. But the male comedians will be like, dude, what? Like, go do it. Like, your boyfriend's not gonna care. And I'm like, he's definitely gonna fucking care. And they're like, no, just send him a video of it. He'll be stoked. And I'm like,
that's what a male comedian would
that's
say.
the most sexist thing you've ever said to me. Like, what? Like, I should go fuck someone else and send my boyfriend a video just because she's a girl?
They're just
and not a
hoping
guy?
you would send them a video too.
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
want to
I
like
would
think
never-
about you having lesbian sex.
Yeah, like and my boyfriend's not that kind of guy. He's not like, ooh, I'd love to watch you do that. Like, cause in his mind, he's like, shit, what if you hook up with a woman and you like it better?
Yeah.
You know, like,
That's also, I
Yep.
think, I'm scared
I'm
of
scared.
hooking up with girls because I've only done it like kind of fucked up and in like shitty threesomes. So I've
Yeah.
never been with anyone one-on-one. I've made out with a ton of girls and like hit on them, but that's as far as it would go. I could never close. You know what I mean? But
Me either.
yeah, I had
which
somewhere.
is weird because do you think we all feel that way?
Yes.
And so we just don't hit on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
maybe that's why it's so hard.
There's also so much like subtext in flirting with women, whereas with
Yeah.
men, it's a lot more forward, I
They're
feel like.
stupid.
So like women were like, oh, maybe she just thinks of me as a friend. She's just like calling me
Yeah.
pretty because she thinks I'm pretty. You know, it's not like she thinks I'm pretty.
Or I'm like, oh, she thinks I'm pretty, and now I actually care about impressing you.
Yeah.
Like I already know instinctually how to impress a man. And I guess I do for women too, but it is just a different role I'd have to play. And I'm afraid that once I cross the line, what if I like completely switch over? It just like totally breaks down my version of reality. And so that's why it's even
yeah.
a bigger step.
And then there's girls who like are overly touchy with their friends.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why Kylie Jenner is always the example. Like,
I
Kylie
think she's
and Kendall
gay.
Jenner, like, they're always like holding their friends' hands and like hugging and like rubbing noses and like being very like touchy.
Cutesy.
Yeah. And it's almost like, I get that women can have friendships like that, but it also gets confusing in the flirting stage because you're like, are you just being like for the girls? You're like, oh my god, girly pop, yas queen, or are you being like, I want to fuck you?
See, I had a friend
So
like
hard.
that. And I think it was way easier when we were like, okay, we're just friends. So then I wasn't afraid of the intimacy.
Yeah,
But now looking back, I'm like, I feel like we did like each other. That's why the friend
I think
breakup
you
was
guys
so
did.
hard. You know, like in
Oh,
a
that
weird way.
sucks.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Okay, so we were talking off camera about men and after sex, like how some men just, you know, can't hang. They can't handle it. And
Yeah,
so,
dude.
and they like, what was your story with that?
when I was living in Colorado Springs for like a year, I ended up meeting a guy off like maybe Hinge or Tinder, or I don't know. And we met. Oh no, I met him because I did karaoke at a bar and his friends were there and they thought me and my friend were funny and we were hanging out and I got his number. Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Irrelevant, but like we start kind of hanging out and we decide that we like each other, but that we don't want to like have sex right away because we're like, oh no, like let's like date, like let's like be mature, whatever. So we have a few dates. It's very cute. He's cute. He's in the Navy. I was like, or he's about to go into the Navy, I guess.
Oh, hot.
And I'm like, all right, like I like this guy. And then we decide, it's so weird. Like I'm like, oh, like I don't think I can like last this long. Like I want to have sex with you. Like I want to like take the next step. So I go to his
Fuck me, please.
apartment. Yeah. And so we go to his apartment. It's like summertime and we're at his pool and we're like kind of drinking a little bit, not really drinking, just kind of having like a casual drink at the pool. And we're like making out at the pool. And I'm like, oh, we gotta go upstairs. Like we gotta do, you know what I mean? Like
You're like-
she's calling,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And we
Calls
go up,
coming from in the house.
yeah, we go up to his room. You know, you try to hook up. We try to hook up, and he has whiskey dick. And I was like, hey, we've been drinking today. It's totally cool. Let's just like hang out and watch a movie and like take a nap You know, like let's just.
Because you like him.
Yeah, like I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like I probably also wouldn't have been able to come anyway because I can't come when I drink, I guess. So anyway, in that moment of like him not being able to get it up, he's like on top of me and he's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get hard. And I'm like, it's fine. Like I'm like trying to give him solutions. And then he doesn't say anything. And he just kind of like gets like rolls over and then lays down on his bed, and I think we're about to have like a cute moment of like we're both staring at the ceiling and maybe we start laughing and it's like a fun rom-com moment. But then he just turns over into the fetal position and faces the wall because his bed is up against the wall. And this was like a 6'2" like man in a ball, like in a ball.
He was like, I just want my mom.
And he's butt ass naked.
Was
like
he crying?
He didn't even, I don't know, but he didn't even have boxers
That's
on.
so funny because then you can see the balls hanging out and you're like, you're sad.
Yeah, I
but
just saw his little butt, like, and he's like up against the wall. And I was honestly so shocked that I didn't know what to say. So I kind of just like said his name. I was like, hey, like, are you good? And he wouldn't say anything to me. And I, in that moment, was not mature enough to be like, okay, it's gonna be fine. Like I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. So I literally just get up, put on all my clothes and walk out of his apartment and go downstairs, get in my car and I leave.
And you never speak to him again?
No, we ended up talking a few days later, but it like took him, I think I texted him and was like, hey, this isn't a big deal. I don't care. I don't want you to make this a big deal for yourself. Because I think I was also kind of feeling like, okay, if you're going to be a bitch about it, then like I'm going to get, like I'm not going to sit here.
Man the fuck up.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I
I'm
mean?
not going to sit here and let you wail in it. So
At least eat my pussy or something.
yeah, dude.
That also shows you don't eat pussy, you go into fetal position. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, so we like, I think it ended up just like fizzling out anyway, but I was so embarrassed for him.
That would be an ick for me.
Oh, it's a huge
That's a
fucking
huge
ick.
ick.
Like, cause it's one thing to get whiskey dick. Okay, cool, you're a human. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
But to be that much of a like weirdo about it.
As a wimp. I feel like men always talk about us being too emotional and then shit like that happens.
Yeah, dude.
Like I knew a girl who she was losing her virginity to this guy. And they wanted to have sex. He was down to have sex, but he was like, they were both really religious and come from religious families. And so he's like, all right, let's do this. They go have sex. And then when he's done, he like starts crying. And she's like, what's wrong? And he gets hysterical about it.
Oh.
And he gets on all fours on the side of the bed, starts praying like out loud, Jesus. And he was saying, please forgive me, Jesus, for the sin I just committed. And all of this stuff. So he's like, I'm so
gross.
sorry. He goes, I shouldn't have done this. He's saying all this out loud in
Fuck
front of
off.
the girl he just like took her virginity.
Yeah, fuck off, dude.
And then he's crying.
Oh, man.
Dude, I had
man.
I had an ex-boyfriend of mine from a long time ago. He had erectile dysfunction and I was like, we're gonna work on this. Let's get like as a woman does.
Get
I
you
was
some
like
supplements.
I was like, if you need a pill, let's get a pill. If you need me to do something different, I'll do something different. I don't
I'll
care.
use 2 hands this time.
Yeah, I was like, what do you want me to do?
That's
you know what I
sweet of
mean?
you.
Do you want to put a bag over my head? Like whatever you need me to do. And he would not, he refused to like do anything about it. And it got to the point where I was like, I literally can't even have sex with the guy that I like because he is not willing to like get himself checked out. And
Do you think it was because of porn?
yeah, I knew 100% it's because of porn.
Oh, he just like jerked
because
off
he
too
also
much?
like couldn't, like he wouldn't get hard unless I was like in a certain position, a very porn star
What
style.
position?
Like bent over, knees straight, like folded in half like a sandwich, like grabbing my ankles.
Wait, what?
You know what I mean? You know how when you like stand up and they like bend you over the bed, but then
Yeah.
it ends up kind of like you end up like kind of on the bed, so you're not really. This was like I had to be like bent over, like
Like touching your toes.
yeah. And
You're
that-
stretching at that point.
yeah, like I mean, you're seeing 4 ways to God in my butthole at that point.
Yeah.
Like there's
That's
You
God's
can see
butthole.
every hair in my butthole.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He can see my stomach. Like it's like
yeah,
so
it hangs
bad.
over. I hate that.
Yeah, like it was.
Oh, I thought you meant through your butthole.
No, like when I'm in
No,
those,
that's what
when
I
I'm in
meant,
those
yeah.
positions, like my stomach hangs. It's kind of like a cat pouch, like a primordial
Like the
pouch.
primordial?
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like having sex and it's like going side to side. I'm purring.
I think the worst part is like all these positions that dudes want you to go in that are super porn starry. I don't have like the porn star stomach, so I don't feel as sexy in those.
they,
I'm like, I'm scrunched.
They put your like legs like this, and you're like, I have a bakery on my.
Yes.
Like, I have rolls for days.
They
I
don't
can't-
even care that they're
Yeah.
like, her face looks so hot and I'm in her pussy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
They
just
are
start
my
moving
double
your
chins.
face and you're just like,
Yeah,
they
don't
won't
give
look at
a
the
fuck.
stomach. They're just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
she's loves my dick right now.
Yeah,
I just want-
I'm sorry. I just
No,
have to
you're
say this.
good.
I was on top of a guy one time, and I was like riding him, and he just slapped my boobs.
Did you slap him back with the boobs?
No, I didn't know what to do. I felt so awkward, and it like kind of hurt.
I would have
So
left.
Yeah, dude, I was like, I kind of was like startled. I like went like that, like I was like startled. I didn't know what. I was just kind of like, okay, like.
You got back into it?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what else to do. And I told him afterwards, like, hey, don't do that again. But in the moment, I was like, where has this dude seen a woman get slapped on her titties?
It's like getting hit in the balls. It hurts. It's
Yeah,
not
dude, it fucking
fun,
hurts.
You know? That's so funny.
You ever been cunt punted during sex?
I've been cunt punted.
No.
But during sex?
No.
How would it happen during sex, though?
You're bent over and he's like, here's my knee, bitch.
Getting cunt punted, isn't that just getting your back blown out? Is that not the same
No,
thing?
no. I have always dated like fighters. So like we like wrestle like as foreplay.
What the fuck, Emily?
It's hot, let me tell you, okay?
Like
but
full-on wrestling or like cutesy, like, oh my God, and he like throws
No,
you on the
she's a
bed.
black belt.
we were like, wrestling naked, and he literally just like kneed me in the pussy, and then like went in to make out, and I was like, no, we
he
at
did it
least
on
fist
purpose?
me if you're gonna cunt pump me, bro. What?
Like he did it on purpose? Like,
No,
I'm gonna
absolutely
hit her?
not. No, it was an
Oh,
accident. I was
okay.
like trying to take his back or something, and like he went up,
Oh,
and yeah,
dude.
that
my
taught
worst
me to play
nightmare.
rough.
That would hurt so bad.
We fucked after.
Yeah, of course.
I'm
You
nothing
gotta-
if not
you gotta
committed.
follow
I
through
used
with the
to
deal.
I used to date somebody who did BJJ, and so I would anytime I was like drunk, I'd push my table aside and I'd be like, fight me. And he'd be
Yeah.
like, what? And I'd be like, let's go right now. And then I would like, we'd go into grappling and stuff, and then he'd be actually using his strength. He'd be like, wait, your legs are kind of strong. And we'd be like battling,
Yeah.
and then I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna fuck
There
you
is
so
something
hard
about a
later.
guy that can throw you around like a rag doll.
Oh.
When
Like,
he
it
doesn't
is-
care about hurting you a little bit, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
when you just have like a little bit of that spark of fear of God in your
Yes,
eyes, you're
yes.
like, shit, this is good.
That's
You know
what
what I
makes
mean?
me come harder.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I want to like feel like I'm about to die without actually feeling
Women
like I'm
are
about
so
to die.
fucked up.
We're so fucked in
We're
the
like,
head.
take
like,
me to
you
the brink of
spared
death and
me.
bring me back. You know what I mean? Like you're like, that's how far I need to go.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Now I'm just thinking about him.
Yeah, should I call him? No, I should
I know
not.
life is hard. I'm like trying not to date.
Yeah, have I seen something lately about you saying that you're like celibate by choice or something? You're like,
So we've gone both on celibacy journeys,
okay.
and then we stopped for a little. And I haven't really been like sleeping around, or like I haven't hooked up
Yeah.
with a lot of people. But even the people I did hook up with, like I like them, but it's just not relationship wise. And I can't hook
yeah.
up with people when I'm like, unless they're my boyfriend. That's just where I'm
Oh,
at.
I see.
So I want to
okay.
be celibate until someone's like, you're my girlfriend. And then I'll
Right.
have sex with them.
Okay, that's cool.
That might be a lie. I might have sex with someone, but that's the goal. You
no,
know,
I get what you're saying.
It also
though.
sucks because I like talking about sex. Like if I'm getting to know you, because I want to know if we're gonna align in that sense. And then if you talk about sex with men, they think that means you're fucking tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can't we
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
that is
flirt a
kind of
little bit?
tough.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, or if they go right into talking about sex, I'm like, next. It's the
Yeah,
guy who
it's
doesn't
such a-
talk about fucking or sex where I'm like, why aren't you trying to fuck me?
Yeah, it's like I don't need to know what you think of me right away. Like at least fucking do a slow build, my guy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the slow build. No one does the slow build anymore. I need a slow build. I need to be edged in dating. You
Oh,
know?
me too.
Yeah.
Like that's how
Yeah.
you get them. You edge them, and so when it happens, you're like, fuck yeah, we did this.
Have you ever been on a date with a guy and he doesn't kiss you at the end of the night? And
Yes.
you're like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? You're like,
No.
See, it's the worst feeling because you're like, is something wrong with me, or is he playing hard to get, or whatever? But then when
It's
he
really
does
he just
kiss
respects you.
yeah, then you're like,
It's
you're
just
like, what
respect.
is this
I was gonna say
respect
that.
from another human being? What
I've
is
never
this
felt that.
feeling?
But
Yeah.
I think I've definitely gone on a couple dates where they didn't kiss me after, and I really wanted to kiss them, and it made me want them more. So the next time I was like, oh, we're kissing, and it was
Yeah.
my choice. But have you ever been on a date where like the guy tries to kiss you at the end, or like in the car? I can't have a guy drive me home after a date because I'll be in the passenger seat, and then you have to go lean over to hug. And then they
Yeah.
always want to make out in the car, and I'm like, I can't make
Yeah,
out.
that's
I'm
like a
uncomfortable.
weird move. Like,
Jamie,
walk me to
why
my
are you talking
door.
about me right now?
She made me do it.
I made out with somebody in a car recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I had a crush on him.
Yeah, but that's
Oh, well,
different.
then
I'm,
that's-
I'm
yeah.
talking
Still
about
do.
a guy that you like went on a date with, and you're like, this isn't going anywhere, and they think it did, so they try to like kiss you,
Oh,
and you're stuck in this
yeah.
awkward dance of being like I've straight up been like no, and like full on.
Oh, I give them my cheek. I'm like, here you go. This is all you
Ooh,
get.
I have some funny that's happened to me. I've had some very weird like Tinder date things that they last like it's like 6 hours and then I'm out. It's like
So maybe you should be gay. If you're going on these long ass Tinder dates, you may as well do them with
I
women.
have
That's because she's in
a
fucking
boyfriend.
Colorado. They're like, let's go hiking the long trail. Like,
Oh, well, this literally did happen when I was in college and I was living in the dorms on CU's campus. Like, I matched with a guy who, huge catfish, because in the photo he was like buff and had long hair and like whatever. And then when I met him, he had cut all of his hair off and he like stopped doing the sport that he was doing. So he was like scrawny again. And like, which is horrible to judge someone, but like I don't know.
But it's like lying. It's
catfishing.
false advertising.
Catfishing, yeah. And so I get to his place and it's freezing out. It's like in the middle of winter. And he's like, oh, okay, like I wanted to take you to this bar. And the first thing I notice is like when he opens the door to his apartment, he's barefoot and all of his shoes are outside. They're like, and the door to his apartment doesn't open to like a hallway. It like opens like outside, like you're outside.
Okay.
And so he comes outside and then he puts on his shoes and I think he's going to walk me to a car. There's no car. He just starts walking and I'm like, are we going to the bar? And he's like, oh yeah, it's only like a 25-minute walk.
What?
And it's like in the middle of Colorado winter. It's like 13 degrees outside.
And you stayed on that date.
Yeah, and because I was like, I didn't know. I was young. Like I was like, I don't know like how to say I don't want to do this. I was like, okay, I'm gonna suck it up, even though this guy's not cute anymore.
ladies, we don't
Like-
have to suck it up. We do not have to suck it up at
Even if you're
all.
19 and awkward as fuck, you don't have to. So he takes me to this bar. He forgets his ID.
Oh God.
So then he's like, okay, I'm not going to make you walk all the way back. Like, let's just Uber back, whatever. And then in the Uber, I come up with a brilliant fucking plan. And I text my friend and I'm like, hey, can you call me and pretend like something crazy is happening? Classic girl move.
Yep.
And she calls me and she's like, oh my God, my cat is dying. And I'm like, no fucking way. I will be there in 2 seconds. And I tell the guy, hey, I'm really sorry. My roommate's cat is dying. Like, I gotta go take care of this. And I think he knew it was a lie, but I was like,
You're like, this is a good one.
yeah.
He'll
I was
believe my
good
cat
one.
story.
like at that point, I honestly didn't even give a fuck if he knew I was lying because I was like, you catfish me. You make me walk 25 minutes in the freezing cold. You don't even have your ID with you and you still think that I'm going to go get this drink with you. And then the funniest part of the night was like, we get back to his place. I get back in my car, I think, and I see him like go up to the door, kick his shoes off, put him in the snow, and then walk in and close the door.
he just left his shoes in the
He
snow.
just left his shoes outside. Like
So he catfished you, and then you catfished him.
It's always
kind of. I just Irish goodbye'd him. I was like, I gotta go. Sorry, I
have a
can't do-
dead pussy in my car. I
Yeah,
have to take
literally.
care of.
Like I can't do this.
When I have friends do the girl code thing, I'm like, no, you're killing yourself. Somebody's suicidal or somebody's dead. Like we have to go to the extreme for
Yeah.
these
I know.
men.
Emily's
Yeah.
texted me on a date and was like, I actually don't like this man. So me and another guy. It was from OnlyFans.
Yeah.
We show up to like a bar here and
Wait.
and
You
so-
show up with him.
And
Okay.
so she's on this date, and then all of a sudden, we're gonna go walk over to Emily's table, grab food off of her plate, and say nothing, so that this guy on the date is like, "What's going on?" And so goes over. He grabs some food, doesn't like say anything, and then like a little bit later, like I go over, and then we had another friend there who went over, who Emily hadn't seen, didn't even know that he
what
was
did you
coming.
do when they did that? Did you just?
Oh,
I didn't explain anything.
She was just like, this. I need this for this date to
He
continue.
knew Jaime, obviously, but I
Okay.
didn't explain the other men. I thought it was funny that just random guys were walking up to me during a date and taking food off my plate and then leaving.
Yeah.
So funny.
It was so good.
But we ended up we used that to kind of open up like, hey, we're all going to hang out now. So Emily's not alone.
Oh, okay.
And then I was saved. I hope he isn't listening to this because he did listen to the podcast at the time.
Well, whatever. Who cares? Now he knows not to be.
He was really nice.
He was super nice. I
Yeah,
guess.
he was a
like
good guy.
not-
He was a good
yeah.
guy, just not like, I don't think it just was her type.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I'm like trying to think of other ways I've gone on a date. I've actually to get out of a date, I've brought a friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was this guy who was giving me really weird. He started getting weird, and I was like, I think this guy might be on drugs. And
Oh,
he showed up
shit.
super late, and he's like, I'm at your house. And it was late, and I was like, with the girl, he's like, we're going to the bar, and I was supposed to drive. I don't even know. Weird stories, and I wanted to get him out of my apartment complex area to where there's people.
Yeah.
So we went to the bar with him to be in public.
Yeah.
Because we were afraid
Smart.
to be alone. But he was like in our car, so I was like with my friend. I was like, oh, my friend's gonna join the date. And I kind of
Yeah.
used that to get out. And we were like, all right, we gotta go now. It was really weird.
I think the worst way I got out of a date, I was at the movies with a guy, and a guy I wanted to date was coming to the same movie theater. And I knew that he was coming to the theater next to us. And I was like, he can't see me leave with another man. So what I did was I told this dude that my friend was going to kill herself because her boyfriend had left her and I had to help her move her whole apartment. He ends up driving me home. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I have to leave. Like, I can't go there. I picked the dude up from the movie, so I actually wanted to date. And I was like, hey, babe. He's like, what have you been up to? I was like, oh, just hanging out with my friend. She's going through a really tough time. And that was probably the most
God
toxic
damn,
thing I've
dude.
ever done.
That's insane.
I also peed in a parking lot that night in front of a school that I worked at. I was going through it at age 18.
Dating when I was younger was so hard to navigate. Like, no
Yeah.
one teaches you, like, the little things like that. Like, what to do in those situations.
Well, also, like, no one tells you, like, the crazy shit that you're willing to do for dick.
Oh, so much crazy shit.
Like, have you ever like gone out of your way so much to go get dick down by some guy, and then you get dick down, and you're like, I'm definitely getting BV after this.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
even
and
that
I
good.
always do. And I always do.
and it just tears apart your fucking innards, and you're like, wow, that was literally not worth it at all.
Like, you don't even get the validation that you wanted from it.
Yeah, dude. There was this guy that I in Colorado like had met, and like we met on Tinder, and we were like gonna hang out, and we were like, no, we're not gonna have sex, and we end up getting drunk and having sex.
Of course.
And
Of
I
course.
got
Story of my life.
literally the worst BV/yeast/
Everything.
UTI infection from this motherfucker. And he wanted to like date me, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't date you after
have
this.
toxic
Like, you
dick.
ruined it. But I ended up dating him. And then like 2 months later, he says, hey, I just want to let you know that weird in between where we had hooked up but we weren't dating yet, I fucked some other girl and I got her pregnant, but you don't have to worry now. She just had a miscarriage.
He's like, baby's taken care of. I'm coming back to you.
He's like, hey, I'm really sorry that I gave you literally the worst bodily infection of your life, but at least I didn't give you a kid. But like,
Wow.
he waited until she miscarried to even tell me that she was pregnant.
Listen,
Oh, of
the Lord
course.
giveth and the Lord taketh.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I put you in this world. I'll take you right out, honey. Okay?
Amen.
Ugh.
oh, man. Honestly,
God.
it's probably for the baby's best interest.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
That would have been his dad.
Yeah,
the baby's dad.
absolutely, dude. Oh God.
Why is it like the guys who look like they'd give you BV, though, they also look like they'd fuck so good?
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
oh,
'cause
you're going to fuck me good. I'm going to get
if
something.
they're a toxic dude, they have a toxic dick. That's how it works. Like if you're mentally toxic, you're also physically like any guy that you would like categorize as a fuckboy, he probably is a fuckboy because he's really good at sex and because he gives everyone yeast infections.
But you know what's crazy? The most toxic dick I've ever had, I never got sick from it. I never got an STD, nothing.
Damn.
You know what you'll get from that kind of dick, though? It ages you. Like I get butt pimples whenever I'm with a guy that like my body's like, no. And it'll be a butt pimple that's so bad that I literally think it's the universe being like, you can't have sex. Because I don't want anyone to see that butt
Really?
pimple.
Wow, that's interesting.
I'll show you my butt pimple after.
Yeah, dude, I don't really get. I'm not like one of those girls. Like I pee after sex all the time. You know, you have to pee after sex.
I'm so bad at that.
Yeah, but like I don't normally have issues with like that kind of stuff. Like
Wait, no, you used to get UTIs all the time with that man. You did get
towards
something.
the end. Towards the end.
So that was the toxic dick. It got toxic in your body.
Or was he maybe fucking other people and you didn't know?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
God only knows.
Because that's isn't that so annoying too that like men can fuck 52 ways to Monday and their dick is fine, but you have sex with one guy on a Saturday night
And it
you
ruins
get
you for
ruined
chlamydia.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's so shitty.
It really is, and I wish there was a way you could tell. I'm like, because
Well,
sometimes you
just
don't know.
You gotta have like I think what I'm gonna do.
Dirty dick radar.
Well, no, you have to have a dick car wash in the hallway. Like you have to be like, if you want to come into the bedroom, you have to go through. It's like a drive-through car
You have to
wash.
take a shower.
You have to. Yeah, there's gonna be those spinny things. They're gonna do that on your dick, and then there's gonna be soap, rainbow soap, and then there's gonna be a big dryer at the end.
No,
And
bitch,
that's-
I want a whole full blood panel, STI, STD panel, HIV, everything.
I'm gonna give you a fleshlight filled with Dawn soap, and that's how we're gonna handle this bitch. Like you're gonna.
I want to see the bubbles coming out, or you're not
If
doing
there's
it.
no suds, there's no puss. Sorry, like
No
it's-
suds, no puss.
Oh my god.
The only problem is with that, once I like you, I want to fuck you.
Immediately
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad. That's why I can't fuck anyone.
Yep, same.
Because it gets me down bad. And then I start thinking about them and I'm like, God damn it. And which would be fine if I thought we could date or they were actively trying to pursue me, but I would just like, I know that's not the case.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, if I do this, I'm going to be hurt in 6 months or something. And I'll be like,
yeah.
you always tell yourself it's going to be worth it. You're like, I'll just have fun now.
It's never fun later.
It's never fun later.
I definitely, like, before I met my boyfriend, had like a hoe period. Like I had like and it was the universe.
What do you consider a hope?
like 4 different dudes on 4 different weekends.
Wait,
Like a different dude every weekend for 4 weeks.
I
Like,
guess,
that
yeah.
to me is like that to me was like okay.
that's
like,
a lot for me,
a
so I
month
get
of,
that.
Yeah, a month of like whoring it out and then I'm good.
Sometimes you just got to get it out of your system and you're like,
Yeah.
I didn't need that. And you don't have to do it again.
Well, and it's like fun because like I don't know. I'm very sex positive. Obviously, you guys are sex positive. Like I think that as long as you're being safe and consensual, like who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel
it's
that
like-
too.
I'm
it's like
sex
just-
positive with other people and not with myself. Does that
Really?
make sense? I'm like, you shouldn't be doing that, Emily, because that's bad for you. But other people do whatever the
What
fuck
about
you
it
want.
makes you think it's bad for you?
I just don't feel good when I have random sex.
Oh, like mentally?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Or
yeah.
like if like you haven't worked through some stuff, like when we're celibate, I don't know, we've talked about this too, like healing, when you have that period away from friends, family, sex, men, whatever,
Yeah.
and you are like, oh, I'm good now, I don't have any triggers, I don't have whatever, and then you
Yeah.
start like hooking up with people, and then those like insecurities come out, and those things, there's so much that comes with just fucking sometimes, like emotionally, that like you might not be emotionally ready for. Especially if there's a ton of other shit going on. I'm like, it's way more
Yeah.
peaceful
That's
with no
so
dick.
interesting. I can't relate to that, but I think it's interesting. I think it's because I secretly am a fuckboy on the inside. So I like genuinely don't care. Like, which is really bad. But
No,
I
that's
think
not
I
bad.
used to. I think I used to, but like for some reason when I got into my 20s, I just kind of was like I would have sex with guys and then they would like be like, "Oh, damn, like I like you." And I was like,
Can't
"No,
relate.
No, thanks." Like, you know, I don't know why.
I think it's just the circles too. Like we're in entertainment. And so we were talking about how every industry
Yeah,
knows
that's
each other.
true.
Even if I'm hooking up with someone who's comedy adjacent, somehow they know somebody else that I've hooked up with, or you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and I want to avoid. I'm now realizing how small it is. And you can't, when they say don't just fuck comedians, like you can't fuck anyone in entertainment because they all know
Right.
each other.
Right.
But
Yeah.
those are my
Shit.
only options. Got anything big things
good.
coming up? Anything you want to shout out?
I mean, shout out like everyone that goes to comedy shows. You guys are great. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Like the people that are supporting comedians and supporting live comedy and like listening to podcasts and liking stuff on Reels and being the ones that are supporting our careers. Like
We
fucking
love
thank
you.
dude.
We appreciate
Thank
you guys.
We really
Subscribe to
do.
my OnlyFans.
When we did our first live show and the feeling that we felt doing it, and then people who are our fans, we didn't even know they were coming. They had just seen like the promotion. They were like, we've seen your clips and stuff.
Yeah.
All of that coming together I was like, we wouldn't have been able to do that live show without those people.
Right.
No.
And I'm like,
Right.
and we get to do this for a living.
Yeah.
All because of the people listening and stuff like that. So it's really cool. We love you guys. What a
Yeah.
great way to end.
Yeah, genuinely. It's like
That was beautiful.
Now let's all have gay sex.
yay, pussy.
And you can find it on our OnlyFans because all three of us have it.
And where can we find you?
Morgan Gallo comedy on like pretty much everything. If you just type in Morgan Gallo comedy, you'll find me on literally every platform, including OnlyFans.
GALLO.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
And that will be linked down below.
Well, this is so fun. We're going to go watch you perform now. We're excited.
Oh my
I'm
god!
so
yes.
excited.
Hopefully I don't bomb. Woo!
No, you won't. You're great.
No, you're gonna
very
crush
funny.
it. You're always
I think
hilarious.
you're a good joke writer. So,
Thanks, man.
yeah, enjoy your comedy.
I'm very nervous to be in this rain, but it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It's gonna be awesome. It's a Miami crowd. It'll be great.
Yeah, they're always fun.
Yeah, I think Morgan has a good amount of people here that want to see him, so I think it'll be good.
That'll be really good.
Yeah.
I love
right.
it. All right. Well, tune in to us next week. Tune into Morgan Gallo Comedy on all platforms, and we'll see you on Tuesday, you filthy fucking stoners. Over and out.
Over and out.